Too Sweet Wrestling Podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is episode 31 of the Too Sweet Wrestling Podcast. We're about to hop right on into it. We got possible NXT call-ups, where they should go next, how they would fit in. We got Becky Lynch. Is she the new Daniel Bryan? We're going to hop into that. Road Dogg made a comment on Becky Lynch. We're going to hop into that as well. We got Paul Heyman, Ronda Rousey. Would they make a good pairing? I saw a story. Would that work out? About to hop into that. And also, the Rumored Evolution main event. Nikki Bella, Ronda Rousey. We're about to hop right on into that. So, first, we got a little house cleaning to do. You find me on Periscope at 2SweetPod. That's the number 2SweetPod. You can find me on Twitter at 2SweetPod as well. Also, you can find my personal Twitter account at OMGCoreyB. And also, I have a Periscope on there as well at OMGCoreyB. But the main one is at 2SweetPod. You can find me on YouTube at, yes, Samoa Joe's the best thing in WWE. I'm reading that on Periscope right now. He's a bad man. He should be the champion. Leave comments down there. I will respond. You can find me on YouTube at OMG Corey B. Just type it in the space bar. OMG space Corey space B, and bam, there I am. That's my channel. I got reaction videos. I got nothing but the wrestling breakdowns. All wrestling. Go find it out. Go subscribe. So let's get right on into this. First, we're going to start off with Becky Lynch. Look, this was supposed to be Becky Lynch is the next Daniel Bryan breakdown. And I'm going to be taking questions too, so stay with me. Once I break down all these topics, all the questions you got on Periscope, I'm going to answer them all. I just seen that question, that statement as well. I'm going to get back to that. Samoa Joe is a version of Taz. I'm going to get to that, so stick around. Becky Lynch, it was supposed to be that Becky Lynch was the next Daniel Bryan, and she is looking like it. And I was also supposed to break down how Charlotte was turning into Roman Reigns as well. But this took a left turn for the better. For the podcast purposes, took a left turn for the better. And Road Dogg made a statement on this. So we had Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet, and this is not a bang on Ryan Satin podcast or whatever. I will never come on my podcast and bang on somebody else that's putting in work. But this is for the narrative of the story. Ryan Satin brought up the fact that fans shouldn't be reacting the way that they are toward the Becky Lynch storyline. He didn't particularly like it. So Road Dogg chimed in and co-signed with him. And we had somebody that responded to Road Dogg at Joshua Roberts. He said, he responded to Road Dogg, but the story we've been told is Becky has had to fight and struggle to earn an opportunity at the title. Charlotte was just handed an opportunity and took the moment away from her best friend. Becky is right and justified in everything she says and is no way the bad person. That is correct. Road Dogg responded by saying, no, that's the story that you were told. That's not the story that you were told. That's the story that you wanted to hear. She had to do the exact same thing as Charlotte did. Beat Carmella with an exclamation point behind it. They both climbed the same exact mountain. Now, there's many tweets that go behind that. We even responded to many people. I'm going to save you the process and just respond to that. They did not have to climb the same mountain. That's like saying, okay, one person is one step from Mount Kilimanjaro. They're one step from climbing the top. And the other person had to start at the bottom and climb all the way up and get to the mountain. And just saying that, oh, well, they both climb the same mountain. I mean, come on here. Let's start back from the beginning. Becky Lynch was on a losing streak. They built this up. They had the announcers mention it. They took us down that road. I even called Becky Lynch at one point in my previous podcast the Cleveland Browns of WWE because she was losing so much, but every match you thought, okay, this is the one she's going to win. And you couldn't help but to love and respect her. So they told that story. And eventually she earned her way all the way up to getting a title shot at Carmella that led us all the way up into where we were at SummerSlam. And she lost and she snapped. And the thing is with me, with Road Dogg and with WWE, is that you told that story with Becky Lynch. And you have the nerve to say that that's what we wanted to hear. No, you told the story. You told the story, and it was a fantastically written story as well, might I say. And now that they have Becky Lynch in this character, they wonder why the fans are reacting the way they are. They react because they love Becky Lynch. You cannot get the fans to boo the people's choice. You turn Becky Lynch into the people's choice. So the fans are not going to boo her at this point. You can find my reaction video when I reacted to Becky Lynch's promo. I was like, who wrote this? Like, Becky Lynch's promo was so well done, but it made no sense in the end because she started turning on the fans. It was like, well, what are they doing here? Becky Lynch is the fan favorite. She's Daniel Bryan. They're not going to boo her. Charlotte, in this instance, and I hate to invoke this name, but she's Roman Reigns. At the point in Roman Reigns' career where the fans just did not accept him, Charlotte is not going to be accepted in this feud. It's just like when Roman Reigns feuded off with Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns is going to get booed out of the building, just like Charlotte got booed out of the building, because people do not want to like Charlotte over Becky Lynch. I would think that was obvious to WWE and to everyone. So Charlotte came out last Tuesday to raucous boos. And the fans just do not like Charlotte. She's had the title. She slipped in, got a title shot out of nowhere. And she's had many title shots before. So why are we going to cheer Charlotte in this instance? At this point, WWE just needs to look at the fans and just go with it. Look, the fans just want to cheer Becky Lynch. We'll throw you a mulligan. We'll forget about that promo that Becky Lynch cut when she went against the fans. Just toss us this match. We are going to cheer Becky Lynch. It doesn't matter what you do. You can have Becky Lynch throw a cat from a tree. We're still going to cheer Becky Lynch. I mean, at some point you just have to give in. I would hope that they would give in and not go against the grain from the fans, because it's going to turn into some weird promos, because the fans are going to keep cheering Becky Lynch because they love Becky Lynch. At this point, they just need to go with it. And I hope that they don't be stubborn with this, because it's definitely going to turn into another Daniel Bryan moment if you don't put that belt on Becky Lynch. So, moving on, we have possible NXT call-ups. I saw a report that said that, and if you don't want to know this, look, it was possible, so it's not definite. Possible NXT call-ups, EC3 and Shayna Baszler. Look, I think EC3 personally, I'm going to start with EC3. EC3 is much more meant for the main roster than he is NXT, because in NXT, look, you gotta put forward the matches. You gotta put out the matches. And EC3 is not a person that's gonna put on a 4 or 5 star match. He has a 4 or 5 star personality. And he's a 4 or 5 star talker. So he would make much more sense on the main roster. And I would think a call up would be great for him. I would put him on SmackDown, because I'm going to say that I don't want to see him get lost in the shuffle on Raw, but lately I've been watching SmackDown and a lot of people have been getting lost in the shuffle on SmackDown, so that's some give and take there. So there's a chance to get lost on any given roster, but I have more faith in SmackDown that he would succeed more so than Raw. So if he does get called up, I hope he goes to SmackDown rather than Raw. He can hop right into the United States title feud, or hop right into a singular feud, and then hop right into a United States title feud after that. So I hope EC3 gets called up sooner rather than later, much more sooner rather than later. As it pertains to Shayna Baszler, look, I have been one that was not that into Shayna Baszler, but I will say this: she has improved greatly with what she's been given. She does greatly in her role. I may not be into it, but I have to admit that she plays her role well. The bully role, she does it great. She's pretty good on the promo as well, so I believe her when she comes out of that curtain. I believe her when she comes down that ramp, shall I say. She's very believable. She's in MMA. I don't know if she's a star, but she has MMA capability, so she's believable. And she's believable on the mic. If she gets called up, I would have her go to Monday Night Raw. Obviously, you have the match there with Ronda Rousey, so I would have her go to Monday Night Raw. As for another call-up that was getting whispered around, possible call-up, I don't think it's going to happen, but Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream. Look, at this point, I don't think he's getting called up because he had the call me up Vince on his tights for NXT TakeOver. At this point, like, nobody's getting called up. You have call me up Vince on your tights. But I think it is entirely too early to be calling up Velveteen Dream. The guy is rather new, and you can tell he's rather learning things on the fly. And I don't think he's ready quite yet. I think an NXT title run is in that guy's future. And I want to have him seasoned up in NXT. Maybe even 2 NXT title runs. It's just not yet. I don't think WWE is ready for that type of character, the main roster anyways. And I think he's really going to get lost in the shuffle with that character. So I'm hoping that Velveteen Dream stays on NXT and stays on NXT for a long time. So moving on here, we have Paul Heyman and Ronda Rousey. Saw a report that Paul Heyman would be staying on as an on-screen character for WWE, even with Brock gone. And a possible Paul Heyman-Ronda Rousey combination has been floated around. And I can see why people would think that that would work. I see why people would be excited for that. But in my personal opinion, I would not like to see it happen. Because here's why. Paul Heyman, as great as he is, he has only been successful with Brock Lesnar. In his advocate role, he has only been successful with Brock Lesnar. The only success that Paul Heyman really had after Brock Lesnar was CM Punk. And that was because CM Punk could handle the stick on his own. He could talk for himself. CM Punk did most of the talking. If you remember going back to his partnership with Paul Heyman, it was CM Punk doing the talking and Paul Heyman kind of chiming in here and there. Paul Heyman just does not have that chemistry with anybody else except for Brock Lesnar. So I have my doubts as to if it would work with Ronda Rousey. Moving on, the banter back and forth with Paul Heyman. As it pertains to the women's division, I can't think of many women that I could think of that has promos that I think can go in a long banter, especially with a Paul Heyman. Alexa Bliss, I like Alexa Bliss when it comes to promos. She can handle a long promo, but that's about it. Sasha Banks, I like her, but not in a long promo. So it would be strange to have Paul Heyman banter back and forth with these ladies if we went in a long promo, excuse me. Now, we had short back and forths, that's different. I think it could work then, but a long banter back and forth with Paul Heyman, I'm not quite sure how it would work out. Moving forward with Ronda Rousey, obviously she needs someone to talk for her, excuse me, because she's not that great of a promo. She can grow into it, maybe, but having Paul Heyman with her would neuter that. She wouldn't be able to grow into anything. If you want to have her grow into being a great promo or a good promo, you can't have Paul Heyman just talk for her. So she has to be by herself, and she has to go through the growing pains. I know she's the women's champion, so she doesn't have a lot of time to go through growing pains at the moment. So it'll be interesting. It would be interesting if Paul Heyman was paired with her. I don't think it would work because I think Ronda Rousey, much like Roman Reigns, I think Roman Reigns needs to grow on his own as a promo. I think Ronda Rousey, now Roman Reigns is far ahead of Ronda Rousey when it comes to promos, but Ronda Rousey needs to grow on her own and talk for herself. That's my thoughts on a Heyman and Ronda Rousey combination. So moving on to the last topic of the day, we have the Evolution main event. We have the rumored Evolution main event, and that is Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella. Look, this would be a huge step back if this main event, Nikki Bella, just think about it, Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey. It would be a huge step back because Nikki Bella coming in and pretty much doing a Brock Lesnar, or pretty much doing a John Cena, just coming back in when the big pay-per-view is coming up and she just gets handed the main event. Look, I cannot stand for that. We have so many deserving ladies that's been putting in the hard work day in and day out. I can stand for Nikki Bella getting the main event. Now, if she can be on the show, sure. The Bellas could be on the show, sure. They're a big part of WWE and a big part of that division. Just not in the main event. We have Ronda Rousey. We have her main event as well. She just got the title and she's not there every week per se, because she just won the title. Obviously, she's here more than Brock Lesnar, but not every single week. So, I mean, at this point, I would understand Ronda Rousey main eventing because she's the champion. But at the least, you could have had her in a main event against somebody that's been there day in and day out. I'm not sure who that somebody is. Or you could have had her in there with, with anybody that's been working there, a lady that's been working there week in and week out. At this point, looking at this main event, it's disrespectful because you got the main event already with Becky Lynch. If the main event ain't Becky Lynch and Charlotte, then what are you doing here? The fans are gonna get upset if Becky Lynch is not in this main event. And as I just said, she's the new Daniel Bryan in my instance. You never know what the fans are gonna do. If you put Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella in that main event, you might have a crap on the match situation. I mean, I'm just saying. And the fans, I wouldn't be upset with the fans if they did it, because that should not be the main event. Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey, that should not be the main event. So you have to be careful there when you have a Becky Lynch who's turned into Daniel Bryan. She has all the momentum in the world. She has as much momentum as I've seen a lady have in a extremely long time. I mean, Asuka had some momentum before they squashed her and got her up out of there. But Becky Lynch is such on a roll that I haven't seen a lady get on in a long time. So you have to have her in that Evolution main event, have to have her raise up that title in front of the fans, have the fans go crazy, raucous ovation when she wins that title from Charlotte. So at the end of the day, I want Becky in the main event, not Nikki Bella, not Ronda Rousey. So that's my thoughts on the Evolution rumored main event. And that's it for this edition of the Too Sweet Wrestling Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at 2SweetPod. That's the number 2, Sweet P-O-D. You can find my personal account on Twitter as well at OMG Corey B. Make sure to give me a follow. Check me out, Periscope at 2SweetPod and YouTube at OMG Corey B. This will be on Castbox as well. I'm on Castbox under the 2 Sweet Wrestling Podcast. Episode 31. I will be back next week. I'm out.